Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now, being somebody in the hiking, camping, and backpacking genre, and more specifically doing gear reviews, I really can't commit to one particular bag. However, for all of you out there, if you're looking to get into a backpack that's really a possible one-and-done solution, the bag we're going to look at today may be the bag for you. Now, I'm here today to talk to you about the ULA Circuit, which is by no means a new bag to the market. This has been around for quite a while now, but it is reasonably new to me. Now, earlier this season, and in fact on my very first trip of the season, I took this bag with me to test it out, and it became a bag that I carried again and again and again for this entire backpacking season. Now, personally, I am in the need as a gear reviewer to continue to move and progress through my gear, but there is this particular bag that for me is going to be a staple in my collection. I mean, let's be real, there will be trips where, quite frankly, I don't necessarily need to test a backpack, and when that's the case, this is going to fill a very significant role. Now, again, as somebody in the gear testing, reviewer mentality, I kind of have the opportunity to fine-tune my kit. Now, we have a ton of different backpacks, a lot of different styles, many different shapes and sizes, and different reasons why I would carry a particular bag in any given trip. But the ULA Circuit, to me, is really that bag that fits the widest range. So whether or not you're trying to go ultra light or you have a reasonable load and pretty bulky gear, either way, the ULA Circuit will work for you. Whether you're trying to be that ultra light thru hiker or somebody who's going to go and just pound some good miles on a day trip, but you need to carry a bunch of gear, this ULA Circuit will do it. It'll do it efficiently, and it'll do it very comfortably. So now with that, I do have a whole bunch of trip footage from earlier this season. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll in a whole bunch of that trip footage, then we'll come back into the studio and we'll look at this bag in more detail. Weighing in with the bag, 206.8, and weighing in without the bag, 171.8. Let's do that one last time. 171.8. Now I'm on the road this morning, headed out to the mountains. This is my first hike of the year, which I am absolutely pumped to be getting outside and enjoying this beautiful weather. It's going to be a really nice weekend. Just psyched to get out here and enjoy the mountains. But for today's trip, we have some pretty substantial mileage that we're trying to really push as far as we can. It's, again, being the first hike of the year, it's a little bit dicey as to exactly what the conditions are going to be. We know we're going to encounter some snow. It's definitely going to be wet, but all things considered, I am extremely excited to test out a new bag. Now, when I say a new bag, it's just a new bag to me. We are going to look at the ULA Circuit. Now, the ULA Circuit, certainly not a new bag to the market by any means. It's a fairly popular bag amongst lightweight backpackers and ultralight backpackers. It's a good quality and seemingly durable bag from what I can tell in my preliminary look at it here. I am extremely excited to see how this performs. Now, my system's just a little bit bulky today because it is sort of a bridge season. It's still pretty darn cold in the mountains. It's not really a warm spring trip. It's a cold spring trip, and for that I need extra insulation. So I have two full sleeping bags, actually an underquilt and a sleeping bag. So my system's bulky, but it's still not that heavy. My pack today, with all my food and water, ringing in right at 35 pounds, which is the sweet spot for the ULA Circuit. If you listen to the experts, a lot of people say if you go much heavier than that, the bag loses its overall comfort, but so far, just from my preliminary thoughts and testing, it does seem like it's gonna carry extremely well. Now, I'm very happy to be on the road, but I gotta get to my trails, and if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor. Stay tuned. So far, very good with the ULA Circuit. Thing carries wonderfully. The other thing that I did add to the top, and you saw it as I was getting started. Basically didn't want to wear my fleece, so that's on top, adding a little bit of weight, but whatever, what are you going to call it, 36 pounds? I mean, this is definitely a real good weight for this bag. It's not overly weighted, which is nice, and I actually feel like I was thinking it was bulky. It's not too bulky, actually. Feels pretty good. So here on the flat trail, so far so good. We have 8 miles plus, I'd say maybe 8.4 of this fairly easy terrain to get to our campsite. Then we're gonna set up everything, and then we have about 5.4 if things work out, and I guess we'll see, depends on the conditions, of a loop up to about 4,700 feet and back down. So very substantial day ahead, and I'm hoping this bag just remains comfortable. But again, so far so good. And check out this water, spring runoff here, just crazy. This thing is ripping. Overall, making good time, continuing to pound down this trail. You know, certainly at this point, completely uninhibited with anything of difficulty. So making good time, and yeah, this bag, I love it. Definitely carries great, and I overpacked a little bit with the amount of weight I thought, because we were going to go to a camp that was much closer. So now going 8 miles into camp, at first I was kind of like, hopefully I didn't overpack too much, but nah, this is carrying wonderfully. Hip belt feels very good. As you can see here, riding very nice. It's actually the top one. I got a couple things going on with the drop leg. I didn't have quite enough room in the pack to fit everything I needed, so throwing that little drop leg on there to help out. But yeah, hip belt feels great. The shoulders, very comfortable. The pack does not move a lot. That's the first thing. It's very, I would say, stout. You know, I have other packs that just move and creak and wander, make a little noise. I mean, my Osprey Atmos 65, I love it, but it creaks a lot. This is quiet. This is a quiet pack. Does not make a lot of noise, doesn't move around too much, feels very firm and secure on my back, and I can tell you, I am greatly going to enjoy this into the future. Now, I feel like there's not a ton in the way of ventilation. My back is a little bit warm, but it's not going to bother me. I mean, it's a nice day today. It's not like the dead of summer. Nice and cool out, very comfortable. So could use a little more ventilation, but at the same time, I'll trade off the ventilation for a good, comfortable, and secure ride. So the nice thing about this bag, having nice, wide water bottle pockets. I like the fact that I can fit a couple in here. I like these 1 liter bottles. They work very well for filtering. I can connect my filter to these. And, you know, on my way in, I do like having a little bit of flavor. So having these seltzers is mighty nice. But you can see 2 of them on this side, and then on this side, water bottle and my stool. So working very well to keep me organized with the things I need on the outside of the bag. Now, the other thing that's working out very well for me is all my food is here on this exterior pouch. So very quick and easy for me to get to it. No problem at all. I like that. I like having my food on the outside of the bag. And it's stretchy enough that it can accommodate all my food, but also with that bungee keeps it nice and tidy. So it's a nice setup. I really enjoy it. And now again, where I'm not using my gaiters right now, it's nice to have this fashioned on the outside. This bungee does a nice job going from almost the top of the pack all the way to the bottom, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4 quality points of retention here, more if you angle this a little bit different. So this working very well right now. So here you can see that back panel. As I mentioned, it doesn't have a ton in the way of ventilation. You know, a lot of times bags will have sort of ridges of the padding to allow for more ventilation. This does not, but again, it doesn't bother me, and the harness system I find to be fairly comfortable. I have really no hot spots anywhere, which is awesome. Nothing's rubbing in weird places. I actually really like the hip belt. It rides just about perfect, and the pack is very comfortable. So rolling in at about the 6 mile mark here, and so far this has been very, very comfortable. So getting ready for the next part of our journey, we have a 5.4 mile loop, fairly substantial hiking ahead of us and could be pretty difficult, but taking a look at the bag here, as you can see, it is pretty compact at this time. So taking everything, cinching it down, only bringing the essentials with me for this summit, this works pretty well. So as you can see, all the compression straps, tightening everything down, and at this point, I mean, it does not look to be a 60-liter pack, even though it is. And the only other thing that I might potentially put in there at this point, I'm wearing my fleece just to keep warm while we're stopped here, but this has my food, has my water, has my warm clothes for the summit, and a couple other things that I need while I'm out there, but lightening the load and ready to hit the peak. So the ULA Circuit packed up very nice today. Actually went together nicer than I had it on the way out, which is surprising. So I think it's going to carry pretty nice. I took the drop leg, put it on the outside of the pack just to keep it off of my leg. I was sick of it banging off of me all day. And with 9+ miles to go all the way home, let's see if I can do a little bit better, right? So anyway, that's working very well. Holding on perfectly, no problem. Looking forward to this hike out of here. It's going to be a beautiful day. So something I discovered now here on the way out that I wasn't doing on the way in with this ULA Circuit, which makes a big difference. Now what I found is this fits my waist so well. Just the padding is perfect, and the way this rides is perfect. This bag seriously just does what it's supposed to do very well. It's made to carry gear efficiently on a long distance and comfortably, and it absolutely does. This might possibly be my favorite bag yet, but what I was saying, what I am doing now is, and I don't know if you can see that, but I have a good amount of space now on my straps, and just letting the air get in there real nice and just ventilate. I wasn't doing that yesterday. I had it against my back the whole day, but now I got a breeze in this nice area coming through, keeping me nice and dry. The bag sits so well on my hips that it's all it really needs. It doesn't need anything more than that. So for this, it's awesome. I can say that I greatly recommend this bag. After, let's see, where are we at? Probably, let's see, yesterday was 9, we're about 4 in, so 13 miles so far. That's pretty good. So, like I said, I'm giving this thing my thumbs up for sure. And so now back in the studio, we will go through all of the features of this ULA Circuit. And so first things first, ULA is ultra light adventures equipment. So ULA equipment, this model again being the Circuit. Now there are a number of different models. This particular model for me was that sweet spot. Now there are some smaller models. A lot of people swear by the Ohm 2.0, but there are also larger models, say for example, the Catalyst. Now here, the Circuit, this is as much as a 68-liter pack. And in my opinion, you really don't need to generally get much more than that. And this will also get nice and tight and tidy, and you can crush it down. So if you don't have a lot of volume in this pack, you can certainly get it into a nice tidy package. But at 68 liters, that is wonderful, with a maximum load, they say, right around 35 pounds. Now the bag, in and of itself, weighing in at 41 ounces. That is super light. Now, in reality, when you look at it, that's just a little over 2.5 pounds. So when you're talking about your big three, bottom line is, coming in at 2.5 pounds, you can save a lot of weight in pack weight alone. Now, something worth noting, if you look here, you will notice that my particular pack in this multicam. Now, many of the ULA products come in what's called a Robic nylon, but this one here is in 500D Cordura. So Robic nylon being like on this Granite Gear Crown 260, they say it's a little more durable and it is a little bit lighter, but for me personally, I really like the look of the Cordura with that multicam pattern. Very, very cool. And the fact is, it's only 2 ounces heavier, not a big deal. So what? 41 ounces, 43 ounces, doesn't really matter. For me, having a little bit of look and style is definitely cool. And if you've been watching my channel, you probably realize I tend to like subdued colors anyway. So this particular circuit working out very nicely. Now, another thing that you need to pay very close attention to the details is the sizing. If you look at ULA's website, they have a lot of details on sizing. And not just for the overall torso height, which for me is a medium. I have roughly a 21-inch torso. So the medium is at the, I would say, upper range of torso sizes. They pretty much range up to about 18 to 21 inches for torso size on the medium, but also in your waist belt. So looking very carefully, you do need to pay attention to your waist belt sizing. Now, they do have a ton of different sizes. In reality, I need either a small or a medium. Now, I typically have between a 32 and a 34-inch waist. Quite frankly, my weight can fluctuate quite a bit depending on my diet and what I'm trying to do, and I will play with my weight from time to time and play with my diet accordingly. So I need a belt that can fit between 32 and 34 inches quite easily. And so with that, I could get away with either a small belt or a medium belt. Now, in this particular case, I'd have to look a little closer, to be honest with you. I can't remember exactly what I have here, but if I can figure out the details, I will annotate it below. But one of the things that I do also like very much about the circuit is its slim profile. This sits nicely between your shoulder blades. It doesn't bulk out in any particular direction too far, rather utilizes a roll top design to help you gain some additional capacity. So if you needed to, has the strap over the top for retention and to keep it tidy, and these buckles that go down over the sides, which is nice. Again, this is a roll top design. And one of the things that you'll see ULA does wonderfully, and some companies don't quite get this, they put male and female right on the top. So you can buckle that together if you want. And the other thing that works out well is you can then use your, I would call it your sort of top straps, and you can bring them around the front to add additional compression strap. So if you want, you can configure this bag a couple different ways and take advantage of the fact that they've done a wonderful job thinking about the buckles. Now, with that said, you will see this nice ample front mesh pouch. This to me has been something that's come, I'd say, to bring my backpacking experience even further forward. More organization, but most importantly, a dedicated place to keep my food. I have found that for me, I do not, for any reason, want to have to go into my pack while I'm on the trails. I really don't. The last thing I want to do is start rooting through my bag. To me, that's a recipe for disaster. It can get your gear kind of out of place. It takes your quality management and sort of dishevels it, and it gives you the potential to lose things while you're on the trail. So for me, never having to go into my bag while I'm on the trails is absolutely critical. And so having all my food on the outside works very nicely. I will take everything that I'm going to have at camp or the next day and put it way down the bottom. And I'll take everything that I want to get to while I'm actually out on the trails that day and put it in the top so I can get to it quite easily. That works out very well. But then on top of it, having the bungee, I also greatly enjoy that. So getting the advantage of the bungee on the outside, that works very well too. So a jacket or gloves, you can see I put my gaiters, a number of different things can go right on there. Now, I find that a lot of times ultralight bags start to lose the ability to attach things like tools. Fact of the matter is, with the compression straps on the side and even your ability to add the additional compression straps if you do utilize that roll top, you can actually add a bunch of stuff on there. But other than the straps, you end up with a couple of different nice lashing points. So these toggles and these little loops here give you the ability to put poles. You can put, I've actually attached a saw. I've attached my knife. I've attached a number of different things to this, and these do work quite well. So nice that you have them 2 on each side of the pack, and that works out extremely well. But beyond that, the fact that you have such generous side pockets, that also works extremely well. So 2 water bottles, I can put my stool in there, I can put a tripod. You know, for me, while I'm out on the trails, I definitely require my camera gear. So having a little bit of like tool management on my bag is a big deal. So having these nice ample pockets has been absolutely sweet. Now you'll notice on the bottom there are no additional lashing points. I have not had a problem with this. And if you watch my channel, you probably hear me a lot of times kind of complaining about that. It would be potentially nice to have the ability to put a bedroll or a sleeping bag, and in my case probably a tent on the bottom. But I'll premise this by saying if you are using a slightly, I'll call it like lighter duty bag like the ULA Circuit, chances are you probably can get all your gear on the inside where it's going to be reasonably lightweight gear, reasonably compact, and at 68 liters of overall volume you should have ample space. Now swinging around the pack here, you'll see the harness system, nicely done. Load lifter straps like usual on the top, and you'll see here nice shaped straps. Now, you do again need to pay a little bit of attention. ULA offers J-curve straps and S-curve straps. Now, I'm not 100% certain, to be honest with you. I believe these are considered to be the J-curve original straps. But if you wanted the S-curve, or if you were a female, the S-curve may work a little bit better for you. But generally speaking, the rest of the features on the straps are pretty much the same. Nice overall adjustment, good overall comfort. I would say modest padding, but these are reasonably wide, and they do a nice job distributing the load over your shoulders. The harness system fits down very nicely over the tops of your shoulders and around your neck, and doesn't leave too much in the way of hot spots. The way this is connected is ample. You'll see here, just connected right down onto the back of the pack, and these curve nicely up and over your shoulders. So they kind of cradle your shoulders a little bit. So they kind of work their way up your back and then down your chest. So you do end up with a lot of contact point. And inside you'll see these do have some, I would say, ventilation. Now they're not vented all the way through, but they are vented padded straps, and again reasonably wide and generally comfortable. What I do like is the fact that you end up with just some webbing down the front that's very convenient for connecting different things. So it runs from the top all the way down the front of the pack. Now that gives you the ability not just to adjust your sternum strap, but potentially clip things to this. And for me personally, I really enjoy carrying my knife on my shoulder in the inverted position on the way into camp and around campsite. So having this on my pack while I'm doing my hiking, very, very nice, and then I can just remove the knife when I get to my campsite and put it on my belt. So having that there is wonderful. And it again has some additional features. So if you look carefully, this also having some shock cord bungee with keepers to hold a water bottle, but you also have these straps. Now, at first, I didn't use these straps. I didn't really understand them. I didn't really see how they would apply. But the further and further I got to using this pack, the more and more I realized I greatly enjoyed these. And what these do is you have this D-ring, and they clip right on there, and you can adjust them to the optimum height, and you can actually hook your thumbs, and while you're walking, you can hang your hands. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but let's just say, for example, you wanted to stash your poles. Well, for me, a lot of times I carry my poles simply because I don't want my arms to get kind of dead. I make fun of my buddy Terry all the time, call him zombie arms, because he walks sometimes without poles. At least he did early on, and I used to call him zombie arms because after a while puts pressure on your arms and can kind of cut off the blood supply just a little bit. But having these straps here, hooking your thumbs, and when you walk it gives your arms something to do and kind of move a little bit, I found these to be absolutely great. And I'll take it even a step further, which is having these could actually help you out in the event that you damaged your arm or had, the need to use it somewhat like a sling. And I know it sounds funny, but because you can actually unclip these, it makes them very versatile. So you can use these to lash gear. You can use these to lash different items. You could put these around a jacket and help keep it tight, a bedroll, something like that. You can also, like I said, use it to help create some level of a sling. So for me, I found that regardless of if I want to use these on the front of the pack for my thumb loops, I bring them with me just for added functionality, safety, and security. And now wrapping up here on the belt nicely padded, good padding. Again, very similar where it's lightly ventilated, not overly thick, but ample, and that runs all the way through the bottom of the pack. And looking at this here, good overall padding, not a ton of ventilation as I mentioned while I was out on the trails, but enough that it's comfortable. And what I also like is this bag does sit very flat. And if you listen, it's generally quiet. Not too much noise coming out of this pack, which I like. And I think you get a little benefit from the 500D Cordura rather than the Robic fabric at that. So the fact of the matter is, this pack is, I would call it, very efficient. It doesn't have a lot of extras. It's just what you need to do the job well. Same with the padding on the hip straps, and very nicely done. And you'll notice here, it does have dual straps to adjust this, and you can kind of fine tune the top and bottom strap as you tension this up to get the optimum tension around your waist. This works very well where it kind of twists the belt in a couple of directions to really help fine tune it, makes it very, very comfortable. And even at that in the front, nice size pockets, but not overly large. So getting in there, good size pockets for cell phone, keys, wallet. For me, my camera batteries and accessories while I'm on the trail, and maybe a couple of snacks. And now as we make our way to the inside of the pack, again, this is a roll top design. So no front access, all top access, which I do like. The more and more I get into backpacking, the more and more I realize I really enjoy a roll top design. So this bag is perfect for my needs, and I like to crush and stuff my gear effectively down inside. And so this particular pocket here in green, you can see the pockets on the inside are capable of being removed. I found that for me, this ends up being the perfect pocket for my med kit. So I put my medical supplies in here, zip it shut, put all my gear in, stuff it inside, and then when I go to close this up, I just flop that nicely on top. So if I did have to get into my pack, chances are it's probably for my med kit, and at that, it's right on top. This also comes with an additional sleeve, which is actually a hydration bladder sleeve. Now, sometimes I do actually keep this inside the bag. It also has these clips that can easily be removed if you don't want it, but I'll put things in here like my map and some of my little utensils and some of the smaller items that I don't want just floating on the inside, because other than these two pockets, there really is no more internal organization, so to speak. So having a couple pockets is nice, but this really, in my opinion, needs to sit flat against the back of the bag. If you don't, it kind of gets in the way. It kind of creates a little bit of difficulty from time to time. So this to me is in and out. It may stay, it may go depending on the trip, but the green one here generally does stay, and again holds my med kit. And so getting down inside, really no frills to it. You can look all the way down, just a nice open cavernous bag. Again, you do have the ability to cinch this down, or if you want, you can roll it all the way open and gain some additional capacity. So again, opening this up to a full 68 liters, it does give you a good amount of additional fabric. And one of the things you're really not going to be able to see is internally the actual back support system. So inside here and behind, there is a support system which is pretty much comprised of a carbon fiber loop. So inside you can actually feel it, and it goes down really the edges. Right here, there's a carbon fiber pole tucked into some little pockets in the bottom. It comes up over the top of the bag, up over through here, and then back down into the other side. So that's pretty much what they're doing to create a level of rigidity within this pack. Now, in order to appropriately sort of protect your gear, you do need to have the ability to fold this over at least a couple of times and then clip it shut. And once you do that, it is pretty secure. Now, sometimes these packs do have a little like Velcro on the front. This does not. So there is the potential that if you're not careful in how you close this, that this could kind of open up a little bit, but I haven't found that I'm all too concerned. And what works the best is if you really take it and twist it towards the front. And once you get it twisted towards the front, it's less likely to actually accidentally open up on top. So either that or taking this and then again lashing it all the way down and clipping it onto those side straps. So depending on what you're trying to do, you have a couple of different methods. But overall, I do have to say this ULA Circuit being a wonderful, wonderful bag. So all right guys, there you have it. A look at the ULA Circuit. Again, not a brand new bag to the market, but for me, really this year having the first time to get a ULA product in my hands and really leverage the comfort, the quality, and just the overall capability of this ULA Circuit. I have to say I am very impressed. It is one of the more comfortable packs that I own with reasonable weight and at good distance. And that's a big deal. If you're really somebody who's looking to crush the miles and you don't have the lightest of gear, I mean, I think ultralight backpacking has its place, but comfort backpacking also does. And this ULA Circuit will get you there. So again, whether you're trying to go ultralight or you're really trying to sort of straddle the balance between a lightweight kit and comfort while you're out on the trails, this ULA Circuit is definitely a great way to get your gear where you need to get it. So all right guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.